Hi everyone, I'm Bobo. 3 years ago, I left the big city to take care of my aging parents and moved back to my hometown, a small fishing village in northern China. Before coming back, I knew what I was giving up. Fewer job opportunities, tougher competition, and a smaller paycheck. But there are things the city could never give me. More time with family, and a slower pace of life I can actually enjoy. 3 years ago, I bought an apartment in the town center and moved my parents in with me. It's much cleaner and more convenient than the village 20 kilometers away. Over the past decade, this small town has quietly changed. New roads, new buildings, new supermarkets. My parents used to pay with cash for everything. Now they've even learned to use mobile payments. But one thing has never changed. Every few days, people come together to visit the market. In rural China, people have long had an informal agreement. On certain fixed days each month, everyone gathers in one place to buy and sell things. Nobody planned it. It was built by generations of people, one visit at a time. Today, I'm taking you along for a look. Right at the entrance, you can see this special type of paper. In China, when people pay respects to gods or ancestors, they burn this paper as an offering. This tradition has been going on for thousands of years, and it's still very much alive today. Around the Spring Festival, the market is packed with flowering and fruiting plants. Chinese people love decorating their homes with these, especially in red and orange, colors that symbolize good luck and prosperity. There are so many varieties I can't name them all, but the prices are surprisingly affordable. A few dollars gets you a whole pot, and the cheapest ones are under $1. In one corner, there's a vendor selling a truly amazing plant. After it's completely dried out, if you put it back in water, it turns green again and keeps growing. The first time I saw this, I just stood there staring. There are lots of goldfish here. $1 gets you 5 small ones or 2 to 3 larger ones. I've bought some a few times, but I'm honestly not great at keeping them. Goldfish need much higher water quality than I expected. Next to them are some fierce-looking fish I can't identify, but the vendor says they're easy to keep. The turtles are mostly red-eared sliders, an invasive species in China with no natural predators here, so they reproduce very quickly. They're usually sold as pets, about $1 each. A little further in, there are some bright, colorful parrots, around $10 each. I really wanted to take one home, but my family thought it would be too noisy, so I just stood outside the cage and stared a little longer than I should have. Food is by far the biggest category here. In winter, citrus fruits dominate, but there are also tropical fruits shipped up from the south. Most are $1 to $3 per 500 grams. Blueberries are a bit of a luxury this season, around $7 to $8 per 500 grams. And there are entire rows of candied hawthorn skewers. When I was a kid, they only came in hawthorn. Now there's strawberry, yam, cherry tomato, grape. I never imagined candied skewers could have so many variations. This stall sells chicken eggs, duck eggs, and goose eggs. The big ones are goose eggs. In the countryside, many families raise chickens, ducks, and geese. Any eggs they don't need at home get brought to the market to sell. Chicken eggs are about 50 cents per 500 grams. Duck and goose eggs cost a bit more. And this season's strawberries are incredibly cheap. A big full bucket for only about $1.50. This stall has all kinds of grains. Red beans, mung beans, sesame, peanuts, and various plant seeds I can't name. At home, we mostly use these to make congee, a type of rice porridge that's a traditional breakfast in many Chinese households. You can use corn, rice, or millet as the base. Add various beans and a little sugar, and it becomes 8 treasure congee. Whenever my mom makes it, I always go back for a second bowl. You can also find children's toys at the market. The prices are slightly higher than online, but for older folks who don't shop on the internet, this is the easiest way to buy gifts for their grandchildren. This stall sells locally grown green tea. My father has been making green tea for over 30 years, so every time I walk past a stall like this, I always stop, take a look, and breathe it in, and think of him. There's also a Tibetan merchant here selling powdered traditional Chinese medicine. Many elderly people with joint problems will soak these herbs in baijiu, a strong Chinese liquor, and drink a little each day. Supposedly, it helps with the pain. I haven't tried it myself, but there's no shortage of customers. My hometown is a fishing village, so the seafood section is the real highlight. There's a wide variety of shellfish and fish, in large quantities and at low prices. These shells here, $1 can get you several pounds. Over here are cuttlefish ink sacks. Stir-fried with chili peppers and chives, it's a classic local dish. When I was little, large dried cuttlefish ink sacks were an expensive delicacy. Now they're much cheaper and people prefer fresh anyway. Blue mussels and oysters are local specialties, farmed offshore in large quantities, so $1 gets you a lot. There are also crabs, local fish, and kelp. Kelp can be used in soups or stir-fried with chili, and when dried and shredded, it works as a natural flavor enhancer that makes everything taste more savory. But if you don't handle it carefully, it can have a fishy smell. This stall's kelp is only 30 cents per 500 grams. The vegetable section is remarkably abundant now, and that genuinely moves me. When I was a child, northern Chinese winters meant only cabbage, radish, and potatoes. For an entire winter, 3 or 4 months, that was it. Now, thanks to greenhouse technology developed over the past 2 decades, fresh vegetables of all kinds are available in northern China even in winter. This is shepherd's purse, a delicious, fragrant green. It used to grow wild in the fields. Now it's also farmed. Great in dumplings or scrambled with eggs. About 70 cents per 500 grams. Apples used to be the most important winter fruit in northern China because they keep for so long. Now that transportation and logistics have improved, all kinds of fruits can be shipped here, and apples are no longer the only option. This guy brought a whole truckload of tomatoes. Looks like he grows them himself. They're very fresh, 2.5 kilos for only $1.40. You can also find all kinds of kitchen utensils at the market. During the Spring Festival, people buy lots of dried fruits to serve to guests. There are several types of raisins here. My favorite is this red one. Not too sweet, a little sour, and incredibly good. One bag is $1.20. Do you think that's cheap or expensive? This stall brings back memories. It's selling tiny sea snails. I used to eat these when I was little. You boil them and eat them as a snack, picking out the meat with a toothpick one by one. $1.70 per 500 grams. I bought a bag. This is Chinese tofu. We usually have it for breakfast. Next to it is Jianbing, a thin, crispy crepe unique to Shandong province, made from a flour batter. You can wrap it around meat or stir-fried vegetables. It's a bit like a taco, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside, a flavor I've been eating my whole life. Spring Festival has just ended, which means the Lantern Festival is coming up next. In the past, people would set off fireworks and make paper lanterns for the children. Now vendors sell these glowing lanterns instead, and kids love them. This is a specialty from northeastern China, frozen pears. You freeze the pears at -20 or 30 degrees Celsius, then thaw them before eating. After thawing, the pear becomes sweeter than fresh and full of juice. Squeeze it, poke a straw in, and you can drink it like pear juice. If you've never tried this before, you really should. This is a cap gun. It uses small powder caps to make a loud bang similar to a starter pistol. No bullets, no danger to anyone. I had one just like this when I was a kid. Seeing it now still feels strangely nostalgic. After half a day of wandering, here's what I brought home. Frozen pears, tiny sea snails, and Jianbing. For me, the market is more than just a place to shop. It's the most authentic slice of life in this small town. A decades-old routine for so many people, and a part of home that I've slowly fallen back in love with since returning. See you next time.